Finally, Starfire has come back to animation. The brilliant SOB went and did it. James Gunn has officially canonized Starfire to the DCU by giving her her own animated series, alongside a host of other projects that are all coming in the next few years. And judging by his previous work at DC with the Suicide Squad, Peacemaker, and Creature Commandos, I think it's safe to hope for the best when it comes to the DCU. But y'all know me, I'm here to talk about that Starfire. So let's get into it. Not only is she getting her own series, but it has been officially confirmed that she will be in the upcoming Teen Titans live action movie alongside Cyborg and Nightwing. So I just want to take some time to go over everything, give my thoughts, hopes, and fears for what we're gonna get with this upcoming new series for Starfire. I'm actually more hopeful for this than Storm being done in live action again, because James Gunn is at the helm and he is already shaping up to be a much more competent overall visionary when it comes to his direction for the DCU. He's not stuck playing the catch-up game like Kevin Feige over at Marvel, since his vision of the DCU is going in a completely different direction from the old DCEU. Some things and characters will carry over, which we'll discuss here in a second, but for the most part, James Gunn isn't gonna have to worry about doing anything in respect to the old DCEU canon. He can do whatever the hell he wants, which includes things like the recent Creature Commandos cartoon, which if you didn't watch was absolute fire. I'm actually gonna take a minute to talk about that. Skip ahead to this time code if you want to avoid spoilers, but it does have a lot to do with what we're going to be getting for Starfire. If you're into obscure monster characters from DC, then this show is right up your alley. It's literally a horror/monster version of the Suicide Squad, with all of the gore and irreverent humor that you'd expect from such a title. But there's also a ton of emotion and humanity in the show as well, so it's not just an edgy gore fest. If only Titans on Max had gotten that same treatment. But during Creature Commandos, Circe from Themyscira attacks the princess of a foreign country that the Creature Commandos are sent to protect. And while Amanda Waller is interrogating her, Circe projects a vision of a dystopian future into Waller's mind, with the princess being behind all of it. And during that vision, we see the heroes of the DC universe have all died, their bodies erected onto giant spikes medieval style, including our alien warrior hippie princess herself. She's facing away from the camera, but it's clearly koriand'r. We can even see that she's wearing her rebirth outfit. But since this is just a future vision, I don't think we have to worry about this being her fate. Even if it were to happen, it'll likely be reversed very quickly. Hopefully DC's learned their lesson from how not to end a universe with the DC AMU. Please God, I hope so, because we do not need another Apocalypse War ending.
It don't matter. None of this matters.
So when we see this announcement that says Starfire is 100% confirmed, you can take that to the bank. Unfortunately, that's all we know about the live action side of things for now. They really didn't elaborate on that too much, but as more is revealed about the live action movie, I'll be covering that as well, which will include a top picks for Starfire casting video. Moving on to the show itself, the series logo looks great. The colors could pop a bit more. Right now they're fading into the spacey background a bit too much, but the design of the title itself is on point. I love the fiery nature that all the different letters have. I'm really not even that bummed that we didn't get any Starfire designs or anything else in terms of actual animation. It all sounds like it's very early in development and animation takes a very long time. We probably won't see this series actually drop until late 2026 or early 2027, with more fleshed out trailers, clips, and other promo material maybe dropping before the end of this year, if we're lucky. And now into the meat and potatoes of what we can actually expect in the Starfire series. Starfire the animated series will tell the origin story of the title character, following her adventures after she uses an ancient spaceship she discovers on her home planet of Tamaran to escape her planet and explore the stars. Joining her on her new journey are space biker Crush, plant-loving Fern, and the magical Princess Amethyst of Gemworld. Together, the group will uncover the deepest reaches of the DC universe, save space dolphins, surf Technicolor nebulas, and boldly soar into the unknown. Starfire is one of 3 younger skewing series that James Gunn announced. The other 2 are titled My Adventures with Green Lantern and DC Superpowers. So, more of a general family-friendly vibe, probably in the same vein of My Adventures with Superman. But the plot synopsis sounds more like a reimagining of Starfire as a solo character instead of just straight up adapting any version of her existing story as she's introduced to the Teen Titans. And since I am a very big comic book Kori fan, I am a little bit disappointed to hear that we're not getting her comic book origin, but it's kind of a trade-off when you think about it, because this is also an opportunity to see how Starfire functions as a solo character, completely separate from the Titans. And I am perfectly fine with that. I am in no rush to mush her into another team where she can disappear again. Not only that, but since we're starting out on Tamaran, this will be a great chance for them to develop that planet as well. They can really flesh out Tamaranean culture, social customs, technology, the whole 9. There's no reason why Tamaran shouldn't be a more well-established planet at this point. And because Starfire is a character I'm so familiar with, I'm okay with them going off the beaten path as long as it's still in line with who the character is at her core. Starfire in TT03 was a unique take on the character at the time, but it was mostly true to Starfire form, at least in spirit if not in practice. And it's not like they could have gotten away with making no changes to the character anyway, given the target audience of the show. And that ended up becoming the definitive Starfire for a lot of fans to this day. So if this Starfire is done similarly, I can definitely get behind it. But to be fair, there's also the chance that things could go in the complete wrong direction. But I doubt it'll be anywhere near as off base as the live action Titans or as over the top as Teen Titans go. Too far in either direction is no bueno. Moving on to the supporting cast, Crush is the only newer character in the bunch. She's the half-human daughter of Lobo, whose human name is Xiomara Rojas. She crash landed on Earth as a baby and was raised by a pair of hippies who found her outside of Burning Man. She actually joined the Teen Titans for a short period of time. But her presence in the show may actually be a deep-cut Lobo reference, as he and Starfire actually do have some history. Princess Amethyst of Gemworld is a magic-based hero who actually debuted way back in the 50s. She's a member of a race of people who get their powers from Earth stones, just like her name suggests. She had a miniseries back in 2013, and I haven't seen it, but if you have, let me know how it turned out in the comments. One of the Starfire producers actually worked on that show. The only fern I looked up that's part of DC was a plant-controlling princess fern whose real name was Liliana. She was part of the Crisis on Infinite Earth storyline and hailed from Earth 6, where she was the princess of the Monarchy of America. For a character that obscure, they'll probably just use her character as a foundation to make someone completely original. Overall, it sounds like it'll be a really fun series that follows Starfire as she develops as a character. Yes, it will be another show that takes a lot of liberties with the characters that it features, but that's basically how comic books have been adapted since time immemorial. If your only criteria for an adaptation's quality is how strictly it follows the source material, then you're always going to be disappointed. Hopefully they don't make things too different though. There are some things that I'm really hoping we do get. Appearance-wise, I'm not married to any one look from the comics. I already know we're not getting NTT Kori, since this is probably going to take place when she's still relatively young, and they're not going to put a young teenage girl in this getup. Certainly not for a cartoon. They wouldn't have even done it in the 80s, which is why her character design was more covered up in that scrap Teen Titans cartoon. That being said, I really want her to be orange. Like, orange. Starfire has traditionally had a more orangish, light brown skin tone in animation that makes her look closer to human. The only exception I can think of is DC superhero girls. So this time, I want her to clearly look inhuman. Speaking of alien traits, I don't think we've ever seen a Kori with contrails in animation either, so this would be the perfect chance to do that. Personality-wise, it's hard to say what she should be like if they don't go with any version of her backstory from the comics, since her enslavement and experimentation is a core part of why she is the way she is. And with the way they're explaining things, I just don't see how her NTT origin can fit into this series at all. But we could get a soft retooling of her New 52 origin. In that version, Tamaran was conquered by the Citadel, and it was only after Tamaran was fully conquered that the Citadel had Commander banish Kori, leading to her enslavement and experimentation, which then unlocked her powers. If they go that route, that could explain why the synopsis has her taking an ancient spaceship to go off-world. Maybe Tamaran's already been conquered by the start of the show, and Starfire escapes on that ship. Starfire always either escapes on a small ship or commandeers a big slave vessel, so this might combine both origins and have her escape from her enslaved planet on an individual spaceship that she then flies out into the universe, where she eventually meets and befriends the other members of her crew. But there's a potential for us to still get some of that harsh life that Kori has to go through in order to become the alien warrior hippie princess who we all know and love. We're also almost certainly gonna get Blackfire in this, since we start out on Tamaran. The rest of the royal family is a toss-up because we don't know if they're even gonna still be alive. But I really need some rich sisterly drama and some solid fight scenes at some point. Even Titan's own Max included her, writing quality aside. So if they chose to omit Blackfire, this would be an area where the live action Titans is actually better than this show. I just need her core character traits to be intact, including having her be a well-trained warrior. Whether she's already completed her training or is currently undergoing training, I'm fine with either one, but I need the girl to be able to throw down. But I'm gonna do my best to table comparisons to NTT Kori or comic book Kori during this show, as long as they don't go so far off the beaten path that I can't even recognize her anymore. And if we're being completely honest, NTT Kori is a version of the character that exists in its own dimension. Ironically, that version of Starfire does still exist in the comics, it's just not on Earth Prime. NTT Kori and all of the new Teen Titans era Titans exist on their own separate Earth, one where she and Dick actually got married. And if we ever want to see this version of Starfire out of the comics, our best bet is to hope for a period piece that focuses specifically on the 80s or 90s iteration of the team. In terms of the tone and writing quality, it's another toss-up as to what we'll be getting exactly. When we look at the IMDb pages for the producers, we see that Josie actually worked on My Adventures with Superman and the 2010 She-Ra cartoon, while Brienne worked on the Amethyst series that I mentioned earlier and Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes. That alone isn't enough to make me think this will be a straight up home run, but I'm in such desperate need for Starfire content, I'm willing to take the chance. And whether it's good or bad, I'm still gonna cover it, so I can't wait to see how this develops. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell, and do all that good YouTube shiz so that you can follow along with the development and eventual debut of the show right along with me. But for now, just comment below and let me know how you're feeling about this announcement. And after you comment below, click on this video right here to get more alien warrior hippie princess in your life. And until next time, keep simping.